Still setting up for streaming. Perfect. I think we're good to go. I'm just going to spotlight Sister Yinka to start with, just to open it up. And sis, yes, please, you're live. If you can take it on, take over, please.
Okay, is that okay?
Yes, it is.
That fine?
Yes, it is.
Good to go?
One.
Good to go?
Yes, please.
Okay. Good evening, my lovely ladies. I hope you all had a nice time today. Well, ladies, you will be blessed today when you listen to the program. My name is Tokwe, and I will be introducing you to the program today. Pass the Baton with PTB. It's an online platform where ladies, women come together to rub minds, empower, enlighten, and pray on various issues that affect our everyday life as ladies, mothers, and wives. This is held online via Zoom the last Friday of each month. There's a social media page which the hosts will give you the details later. I would like to introduce you to the organizer, the host for today, the wonderful lady and a versatile leader, which is Mrs. Bumi Awe. It's over to you today, and I hope everyone would enjoy the day. Over to you, sister.
Thank you so much, Sister Tokwe or Sister Yinka. Thank you so much for tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. You want to send out an email or possibly a text, remind somebody that they need to be on Pass the Baton. Tonight, we're continuing the morning series, which we've been doing since January. And today we're looking at tips to thrive in your career. And the reason why I chose this topic is obviously we've done a lot of things in business. And we felt that, it's important as well that we know that everyone, is not business inclined, whether we like it or not. For some people, they're fully into business. I mean, like my sister here, Sister Omoyeni, fully into business, whereas there's some people, part business, part career. There's some people flourishing in their career as well. So it's important that we're not leaving any stone untouched, and to know that wherever you are, whatever option that you choose in life, your option is just to thrive. And today we're looking at, our careers. How can we thrive? And tonight I have this, young person that I'm going to introduce. In fact, we've got 4 people. I know we put 3 on the flyer. And I want to say thank you, Vivian. I know that you did say that you might not be able to make it today, but you are here. And I really appreciate it for taking time out to come, and speak to the ladies, to pass on your baton as well. So before I call Biba, I'm going to call Vivian, because I just want her to give us, even if it's like 2-3 minutes, then she can join us later. I believe in mindset. Mindset is very, very powerful. Vivian also works in HR with the NHS, but I also know that she's very powerful on mindset as a coaching as well. So before we go into, the tips itself of your career and also the Q&A session, I just want Vivian to open and to just tell us a few things to just, put our minds in a ready mode, in a gear mode before we go into tonight's session. So over to you, Vivian. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, Bumi. Thank you so much. Can you hear me and can you see me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for the opportunity to have me here. I know I said I'm not available, but I had to make the time. I'm actually on holiday today. So pardon me for being in the car and just being as casual as I can be. So hello,
That's
everyone.
That's the formality of Pass the Baton, trust me.
Thank you very much. So my name is Vivian, Vivian Eni. If you want my career history, just type that name into LinkedIn. You see my face, so you know who the person is. A bit about me. I am based out in the UK. I have been in HR since my master's degree. Hi, Ronke. Thank you so much for this invite and for the opportunity to be here. So I've been in HR for a little while now, well over a decade. At some point before lockdown, I started contemplating what else there was to my career. And then I trained to be a business and personal coach. So I am also a life coach, a career coach, and all things coaching. But me said to set you guys, to set everyone into the mindset. I don't know what that means, but if you ask me, I know that anyone here can do anything you set your mind to do. But I also know that you were born with a gift, and that gift can translate into whatever career you set your mind to. Whether the purpose for the career is because you love it or whether the purpose is for money, don't worry, all of them join. So, in terms of my career, I'm passionate about helping people get the best out of their career and out of their life because I believe that if we all do what we were born to do, the world will be a better place. What have I done till date? I probably have worked for 6 or 7 companies in the last 14 years, which means I've moved around a lot and I've seen HR from so many different perspectives. Howbeit, I've been at 2 companies in those in those 14 or however long I've been in my career now. I worked for one company for nearly 5 years and my current company for 4.5 years. So whilst I've moved around quite a bit, I've kind of stayed a bit. And HR is a career that I fell into. That's a story for another day. I was a medical student. I have a first degree in microbiology and then I have a master's in HR. So I'm kind of just, yeah, I know how to dive from one place to another. We can talk about it another day. But I just feel like when it comes to career, some things needs to be done in a certain way to help you maximize and get the best out of your career. And sometimes some of the things that we do outside of work translate into work as well, but we don't necessarily know. And I'm one person that believes that I should you should bring your 100% self to work because that's the best way you can get the best out of your employer and the best out of life. But yeah, so I'm here today both to learn and to contribute when the questions arise. So that's kind of a spill about me. I hope that helps.
Yes, that helps. Thank you so much, Vivian. I just wanted you to even just speak a few minutes so that when I bring you in at the end, which is the Q&A, people can know where you're coming from and then what's your contributions, how, they weight the matter as well. So thank you so much. So now I'm going to introduce the next person, which is Biba. So let's take Vivian off if we can just spotlight Biba. So Biba is somebody that, I've known her from whatever age. She's like a little sister to me. My junior in secondary school days, but she is absolutely fantastic. I can't read with my glasses. It's very new. So sorry. Biba is a people of change consultant in one of the big fours. She has over 10 years progressive managerial experience in organizational development, performance management, talent acquisition and management, succession planning, leadership development and learning, and innovation. She has an extensive knowledge in driving smooth implementation of HR policies, procedures, regulations, and systems. She's a mass communication alumni of the University of Lagos, obtained her MSc in Human Resources Management from the same university, certified professional in Human Resources International. Biba is an active board member of the Lagos Food Bank Initiative, the first food bank in Nigeria that focuses on addressing the problem of hunger and malnutrition, reaching over 150 communities with over 15,000 volunteer base across Nigeria. In 2017, she was presented the Wise Women Awards for her contribution to community development. In 2021, she was presented an Award of Excellence by the National Association of Science Technology students in recognition of her immense contribution and support towards the growth and development of undergraduates. Her passion for youth development and giving back to the society led to the establishment of her career blog, Biba Talks, through which she has extended career coaching to students, to job seekers and professionals across the globe. She's married with 2 children. So like I said, Biba is a sister to me, a younger sister. I've looked at her over the years, and I love the fact that she's just thriving in her career. And like she rightly said in her profile, herself and her husband, if you ever know Lagos Food Bank in Nigeria, they're very big. So this is the face of Lagos Food. She's small, but she's very mighty. Please don't let Nepa take the light. If you're Nigerian, you would understand that. So please, light, whatever, has to work tonight, right? So yes, thank you so much, Biba, for honoring our call. I don't take it for granted. And if you just want to send with our virtual loves, hearts, whatever, let's give Biba, a round of applause for coming to pass the baton. We appreciate you, and you can just carry on.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sister Bumi. Thank you so much. I'm actually glad to be here. I see all the comments already about the lightning. When your village people just decide to do whatever, because I don't know why it looks so dark. And unfortunately, I don't want to go to the sitting room because I don't want my kids to interrupt the session. But if you would give me 2 minutes, I could try that. Because I also
that's fine. Just carry on. Don't worry.
I should carry on.
Yeah,
okay.
We're good.
Okay.
We can
I'm
hear
so
you.
sorry about the poor lightning. I hope that you can feel and hear my voice clearly. When Sister Bumi read out the proof, I'm like, okay, maybe Biba is going to speak soon because clearly that is not Biba she's reading, but thank you so much. I had to check myself again that, wow, is that my profile? Thank you. Okay, so I'm glad to be here. Like Sister Bumi rightly mentioned, I think I was a junior in school, though we didn't quite meet physically then. But after school, we've had 1 or 2 interactions. She's someone I can I can call on, and she also tries to check up on me. All right, so I know today might have been a long day for everyone, so I'll try to make good use of our time. I think I have 15 minutes. May God help me because I have a lot to talk about. But I want this session to be quite engaging, interactive. Please don't mind my dark room once again, but please let me see your reaction when I ask some questions in the chat box. So I wanted to start off by saying, what do you understand by the topic? So the topic is thriving in your career. So when you say thriving, what is that one word that comes to mind? If you can quickly drop that in the chat box, that would be great. So I think I have to look for where I can even see myself clearly. Please give me 1 second.
Okay, go on. While we're waiting for Biba, please, if you can put in the chat box, what do you understand by the word thriving? Okay. Fabelo says excelling. Yes, excelling, definitely. Moving forward. I like that. Excelling, moving forward. What do you understand by the word thriving? Progress. Yes, progress. Yeah. Not staying in one place. To thrive. What do you understand by the word thriving? What comes to mind when you hear the word thrive? Okay, Wumi says being successful. That is correct as well. All of these words mean the same thing, all synonyms. Thank you. What do you understand by the word thriving? Let's keep going. Someone says, oh, increasing. I like that as well. Exceeding. Wow, exceeding. Forward and upward movements. Flourish. I love that. And I think that's the password as well for tonight. Flourish. To be fulfilled. I'm loving all the F's. Forward, flourish, fulfill. Making a headway. Someone says making a headway. Growth despite adverse conditions. I love that. Growth despite adverse conditions. So nothing is stopping you from thriving. So let's keep going on before we have Biba back. And also, where are you joining from? Anybody else? Where are you joining from? Okay, that is so good, Biba. That's so much better.
I hope this is much better now. I'm also glad. I'm glad, but let me just drop this out there. So in case you just hear, mommy, I will try to limit that as much as possible, but I had to come to the sitting room so that I can see you, so that you can see me clearly. And I love the comments I see already in the chat box. I love it already. It means that we all understand why we're here today. All right, so in the spirit of that, can you also put in the chat box one word that comes to mind when you say career? So when you say career, what comes to your mind? Your trade, your goal. Perfect. More. Your passion, impact. Great stuff. Great stuff. I think everybody has answered the question correctly, but I picked 3 words for thriving and another 3 words for career. And I'll try to marry those 2 words together for each of those 3 words so that when we think about it again, then we understand what it means to say you're thriving in your career. So I said thriving means growing, flourishing, and doing well. So I wanted to speak our Nigerian English. When somebody say, oh, you are doing well. And then when you say career, it's your calling, your mission, and your livelihood. So when you marry those 2 words together, so what comes to mind is growing your calling. That's one thing. Another thing is flourishing in your mission. And then the third is doing well in your livelihood. So if you look at it from that angle, so what does it take to grow in your calling? What does it take you to flourish in your mission? And what does it take you to do so well in your livelihood? And so on that note, I'll let this conversation go in 4 dimensions. And that was why I asked, how many minutes do I have? Okay, so the first would be, I will speak to you about the important skills you need to thrive in your career. Secondly, I will speak to you about the things you need to stop doing to thrive in your career. I'll also speak to you about the things you need to start doing to thrive in your career. And then I'll leave you with some nuggets. So if there's anything you're going to forget today, you won't forget the last bit of this conversation, which are the nuggets I'm going to leave you with. All right, so to thrive in your career, there are some critical skills that you need. And there are about 10 that I've highlighted, but I'm going to just dwell on 2 because of our time. But I will speak to the remaining 8. So to thrive in your career, you have to have a learnability skill. And that's where self-development comes to play. And I'm going to be dwelling on that. But let me read through all of the other skills you should have. I also highlighted collaboration. You need to be able to collaborate. Don't be like me that sometimes I forget to network. I forget to just reach out to people, but I don't forget to collaborate. For example, this session with Sister Bumi is called collaboration. So she has this very interesting platform called Pass the Baton. I also have a platform that deals with talking to people about their career, how to get a job placement and all of that. So coming together to speak to our different target audience is just a form of collaboration. We're going to achieve a common goal at the end of the day. So collaboration is key, even at the workplace. I'm going to come back to that conversation. You also have to have great verbal skill, communication skill and written skill. That is very critical. You're going to write proposals. You're going to have to review proposals of your subordinates. You're going to have to speak at any minute. You're going to be called upon at any, you might not even have prepared. So you have to always be prepared. You have to have the great communication skill to thrive in your career. You have to be creative. You have to be able to think on the spot to thrive in your career. You have to be a problem solver. Some people say, people always come to you that there is a problem, but you're coming to me that there is a problem. Do you have a solution for me? So you have to be creative to thrive in your career. You have to be resilient. That is the honest truth, because you'll find so many things that will discourage you, that will demotivate you. As you try to climb up the career ladder, you have to be resilient. That is for sure. You have to have great leadership skills. You're going to meet quite a number of people that you've never met in your life before. So different opportunities, different workplace, different people. You're going to find like what is actually in vogue right now, people talking about, oh, how do you cope with Gen Z in your team? You're going to find quite a number of very funny people that will tell you, today, I don't feel like working. And you know you'd have to deliver on that project. So you have to have that great leadership skill to be able to manage people to achieve organizational goals. You're going to be very big on technology. Sorry, are we still together? Okay, great. You have to be very big on technology. You might be at a meeting. Probably you think, oh, I'm a senior person. I don't need to record the meeting. I don't need to know all of those nitty-gritty that's involved in Zoom meeting or Microsoft Teams meeting. And then your subordinate unfortunately drops off the call. What are you going to do in that situation? So you have to be open to brushing up your technical skills and also your negotiation skills. You get to a point in your career that doing the work alone wouldn't let you get to where you want to get to. You have to be very political at some point. You have to be able to negotiate, have some conversations at some point. So all of these 10 critical skills are important for you to thrive in your career, but I'm only going to dwell on 2, which is self-development and collaboration. So we are in this age, or we are in this time where people believe that they shouldn't spend so much on developing themselves. So they actually just put that development as solely an organization's responsibility. And it's quite unfortunate because I find that your career is actually in your hands. So the organization will do as much as they can do, but honestly, whoever is going to drive that vision, whoever is going to take you to the next level is actually you. So we have to start thinking of how to invest in our development. Thank you, okay. You have to think of how to invest in our development. And when people talk about development, so they always say, oh, I don't have the money, I can't afford it, but people don't understand that there's an approach to development. So development doesn't mean that it has to be a classroom training. Development doesn't mean that you have to go to an atmosphere and you sit down, put down paper and biro, you have to write, you have to listen to a teacher. That isn't development. As we are actually on this call, we are actually having a developmental conversation. So you can learn from anywhere. So I like to say that for development, we have three dimensions to development, and we call it the 70-20-10 approach to development. And what people fail to understand is that most of the learnings happen on the job. So right now in your career, you're probably, maybe some of us, most people don't enjoy their job. And instead of you to make good use of that opportunity to begin to learn, maybe for example, you are currently in admin, and you don't like to be in admin, you want to be in HR, you want to be in finance, for example. But you are so bitter in such a way that you aren't even looking around to see opportunities around you. You aren't even saying, oh, how do I go up maybe for 30 minutes or 1 hour of my break to work with somebody in HR to understand what he or she is doing and begin to understand the dynamics of being in HR. That is development. That is actually happening around you in your work environment. There are some other things you also learn on the job, but because you are upset with the work, you think you deserve better, you're not even giving room for that opportunity or development opportunity for you to grow yourself. For example, maybe every day you are asked to do a PowerPoint presentation, or you need to work on a particular slide and you honestly do not like it. It's of you to take a sit back and say, oh, how do I learn this? I might need it sometimes in life. Just making good use of the opportunity around you. That's development. It's not about, oh, I have to pay for a training. I have to travel out for a training. I don't have the money now. So then I have to stall on this part, on this, my developmental gap I'm trying to close. It's for you to understand that development happens at any point in time, and you have to be prepared to make good use of that opportunity. The other approach to development is the 20 bits, which is the informal setting. So we have all of this coaching and mentoring solution to development. So for example, you have somebody that has already, maybe is currently in your career path, but this person has like maybe 2 decades of experience, 3 decades of experience. How can you leverage such a person to say, oh, can I mentor under you so that I can also gain from this experience you have? All of those sort of ways of developing yourself, even if you don't have the financial capacity to. Those are the things that should come to mind as you begin to think of thriving in your career. Then the last one, which is the formal training. So as much as you can, if you can afford it, why not try to attend some classes maybe once or twice in a year, just so that you can brush up yourself? Because honestly, if you keep doing the work, you don't try to learn, it will be very, very difficult to actually thrive in your career. In most global organizations or standard organizations, when you go for promotion assessments, they ask you, so in a couple of maybe 12 months or 9 months, what have you done differently in terms of your development? These are questions that they ask every time. So let me even throw it out there. So you are at a promotion panel, yeah? And then you have 2 people in for a promotion assessment. And the first one says, oh, I've delivered A, B, C task on this job, so I think I am eligible for promotion. But the second one then comes to say, oh, I've delivered A, B, C. Also, I have just gained a certification in this and that, and I'm also currently running another program. Which one would you want to suggest more for a promotion? A or B? If you can drop it in the chat box, that would be fantastic. Are we following? Do I need to retake that question? B, great. I see B. Did I see A? I'm not a B. Great. Thank you. Thank you for your response. It's just crystal clear, honestly, because you understand that this person, if given this position, would not only think about developing herself, this person will also think about developing as subordinates, which is key. So it's funny that some of all of these skills that enable you to thrive in your career are actually interrelated. They are connected. So it's better to understand some of these skills so that when it comes to play, you then say, so this is why I was able to, this was why I was successful in my promotion assessment. Oh, this is the reason why I was called for this job. So because you have been able to display that you have those skills. But you find a lot of people nagging, oh, I didn't get the job, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. Probably because the recruiter or the person who must have interviewed you can't find all of these skills, or at least 1 or 2 of these skills. So self-development is really, really, really critical for you to thrive in your career. And I'll immediately move to collaboration. I don't know if I'm doing well with time, but I'll be very fast. I'll move to collaboration. And this one is a big deal. Why? Because nobody is an island. You need 1 or 2 people to be able to achieve your goals in life. That is the honest truth. And collaboration is quite difficult, especially for an introvert. And I do understand because I'm in between being an introvert and an extrovert, but I'm tilting more to the introvert side. So it's a bit difficult. So sometimes you feel like, oh, I can't ask for help in this area. Oh, I don't want to ask this person, so it doesn't look like I'm taking advantage. Or sometimes you don't even know how to ask. You don't even know how to request for, oh, how can we work together on this project? You don't even know how to say it. It's understandable. It's something that you will learn over time. Somewhat, I'm an ambivert. What is that? I really want to understand. It's something that you have to learn over time, honestly, because you can't achieve. So look at an organization, the way an organization is structured. Why do you think there are different functions within an organization? Because the HR alone cannot achieve the organization's objective. The finance alone cannot achieve the organization's objective. Each of those departments have to collaborate to achieve an organization's vision and objective. So there isn't any way you are going to thrive in your career or do well in your livelihood without collaboration. So I'm just hoping that you will sit back after this session and think about it. Okay, in my workplace, who do I work with to spotlight me in my organization? Who do I work with to create visibility for me in my organization? Sometimes, like I said, you get to a point in your career that doing the work alone will not get you to where you want to get to. Doing the work alone is important, but at some point in your career, you realize that doing the work alone will not let you get to where you need to get to. So you need to begin to see how to collaborate more with people. So for example, in an organization, you have someone, maybe you're supposed to work on a particular project and you need to work with the IT team. But because you don't have a good attitude, you don't even know how to approach the IT team, or let's say it's a function of, you don't know how to communicate clearly. and then you are unable to deliver on that task. At the end of the day, your manager is not going to go and blame the IT person, right? The manager is going to blame you because he's going to say, okay, so why didn't you speak to this person to be able to deliver fast on this project? Because in his head, for you to be here, you should understand what it takes to work with other people. And it's amazing that people, when you go for interviews, recruiters always look for that sort of skill in you. So they ask questions like, so when you are assigned to a project, what role did you take in that project? So when you were assigned to a project and then you experienced a glitch, how did you resolve conflict? So they're talking about your conflict resolution skills. They're talking about your collaboration skills. So you need to be able to brush up your learnability skills, your collaboration skills, and those other 8 skills I've mentioned. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go into details, but I can read them out again. Learnability skills, collaboration, communication, creativity, problem solving, resilience, leadership, technology, and negotiation skills. Those 10 skills, please keep it like this. Whether you're going to write it down, whether you're going to watch this video after, please and please. I understand that people would have questions like, oh, I've collaborated in the past. I've tried to develop myself. Okay, I'll repeat it. I've collaborated in the past. I've tried to develop myself, but still it doesn't seem like my career is thriving. We're going to move to the next phase of this conversation. Maybe you will find out why then. So let me read out the skills again. Learnability, collaboration, verbal communication, written communication, creativity, resilience, negotiation, leadership, problem solving, and technology. If that's good, if we can move on, please give me a thumbs up or move on or anything in the, okay, great, I see you. All right, so like I said, I will try to keep to time, but Sister Bumi, I'm sure you understand that this is really something we need to go into. Okay, so I'll move to the next phase, which is the things you need to start doing to thrive in your career. Like, these things are so important. So I call it a reflection moment. So when you take a sit back and think that, okay, over the years, I haven't achieved as much as I thought I was going to achieve in my career. So what are those things that I need to stop doing, or what are those things I need to start doing? So the first of things that you need to start doing is to focus on the big picture. So forget how you started. Forget what the picture is right now. You know where you are headed. And that's why I'm glad that this is more like a Christian program, although I know we would have Muslims in our midst, but we all serve the same God. And I want you to know that sometimes in life, things might not go the way you have planned. That's for sure. It's part of life. Everything cannot be exciting. Because if it's exciting, it's not even exciting if it's exciting. That's the honest truth. Because you then begin to wonder what's happening. Should I be worried? Are things going on? So honestly, you need to understand that you might have planned that maybe by now you'll be a director somewhere. Maybe by now you would be a partner or you own your own organization. But it looks like, oh, you're still somewhere below the career ladder. Just understand that you have a bigger picture in mind, which is where you are headed. Don't get distracted. Understand that things happen, but you also need to then understand all of those things you're doing that isn't right, that you need to work on just so that you can achieve your vision in life. So that's the first thing I would say. At the beginning of your career, it's very likely that you will do some things you don't like. Some things you detest, like you can't imagine doing it. You are embarrassed about some things, but it is life. Take it as a learning curve. For every situation you find yourself in your career, take it as a learning curve and look for the opportunity rather than grumble or complain. The other thing I would want you to also focus on the experience you want to gain. Right now, you might be thinking of another career path and you're somewhere else. Don't worry. Just take it as if it's the step to where you're going to in life. Focus on that experience. What are you learning from your current job that you're going to still need in life? What are those things? So I remember when I started my career. So let me give you an example. I started my career, and then I used to work closely with directors. At some point, I didn't understand why. I thought they were setting me up for failure, because I'm like, why would I be working with directors at this early stage of my career? I don't even have an idea of what to do. Like, how do I communicate with this person? How am I able to manage this person's emotions? And I'm like, wow, I don't know how to do this. So what I did was learn people around me that have worked with directors and they've moved somewhere else. I asked them, so how do you do with this person? How do you do with that person? I had to bring down my shoulders, like, this is it. I need to face this. And I tell you, I think that experience has helped me a lot, because when I'm reviewing emails or when I'm sending out emails, I'm always like, okay, who is my target audience? I'm always more critical, like, okay, I can't send this. You can't send this to this kind of person. You know, you're speaking to that kind of person. I tell you, if I didn't have that experience of dealing with different stakeholders, dealing with different emotions at that time, I honestly might just overlook that. It's an email, why not? Just send it. But because of the fact that I've worked with these big guys before, at the very start of my career, that experience is still there. Like, no, you can't talk to this person this way, or you have to help this person think. Even if this person says, oh, book me this ticket, book me that ticket, you still have to go back to the person, oh, can you remember that you have a session holding at this time? You have to help the person think. It was that bad. At that point, I'm like, why am I doing this? This is not what I want. I want to be in HR. But that was a good standing ground for me. Like, start from here and you're just going to climb up this career ladder this way. Another thing you need to start doing is to learn how to say hello. So I think at the beginning of my career, I used to think I was a snob, or maybe people used to think I was a snob. But I not like I didn't know how to say hello, but I just wanted to be I was an introvert. I was kind of reserved. I didn't want to go out there. I didn't want to be out there. I didn't want to network. So sometimes I would even join some of the HR groups. In a year, I might not even say hello in that group. It was that bad. And I see that this isn't taking me anywhere. So sometimes I just go through my phone. I'm like, oh, who haven't I chatted up in this group? So I say, oh, hello. Oh, we belong to the same HR community. I just thought to say hello. All of that. And somebody calls me up from somewhere, maybe last 2 weeks. I was like, oh, I saw, hi, Abiba, please, could you help me? Could you join a session? I'm like, wait, I don't understand. If I didn't chat up this person wouldn't even approach me in the first place to ask me, or if I could help her join a session and all of that. And I'm like, oh, wow. And at the end of the day, the person was like, okay, please send me your account details. We need to. I'm like, wow. I didn't know. So imagine if I didn't. So it's not even about the money, that's for sure. But the fact that I was able to interact with other people in that session, I'm like, wow. So this is it. I need to honestly increase the way I interact with people. Your network, they always say, is your net worth. So for what it takes, whether you're an introvert, whether you love to be in your room, even in that your room, you can network over the phone to say, oh, hi, just checking up on you, belong to the same community. Please, if there's any vacancy at your workplace, please reach out to me. You know, with all of that, there's some, like I can bet you about 60% of the jobs you see, they don't get to post it online. It's through some of these communities. It's through, oh, do you have one friend? Or if you have this person, please recommend this person. Please recommend that person. That's the way it works. So you need to learn to start saying hello and network. Then you need to dress well. That is for sure. People first look at your appearance. Like the way you all said, oh, I can't see you in a dark room. Then before you even start talking, what do you have to say? I'm not interested. Let me see who is talking to me. And whether we like it or not, that is the way it is. Yeah? So I won't dwell so much on that, but you understand. Even if you don't have enough resources, there are ways now. We can't really go into that details, but there are ways to get some nice outfits to look good. Yeah? Then you need to start practicing public speaking. So I hated speaking to people. So when I'm in meetings, and I used to feel like they were throwing me under the bus. So for example, then my boss just says, oh, okay, so I think Abba is going to take that part. I'm like, why? We didn't discuss this. Why are you throwing me under the bus? But I didn't know that it was actually setting me up for success. Because in my head, I'm like, at least we should have agreed. before you come to me and say, let's talk. But then I started understanding that sometimes you don't have to always be prepared. As you climb up the career ladder, you can be asked to talk at any way, at any time. You're not going to say, oh, I didn't have time to prepare. I tell you, I've been in 5 meetings today or 6. The last meeting ended at 6:30. Instead, I was just taking a break when I saw Sister Bumi's message that, oh, the session starts at 7:30. To tell you that I sat down to say, oh, what is it? I tell you no. Because I have been in meetings all day. And it happens at work. As you climb up the ladder, you become a manager, your director can just call up on you and say, oh, a client is coming now and you're doing the presentation. That's not the time to say, oh my God, I didn't prepare. I don't know what to say. Next time he's going to look for someone else. That's the truth. And then lastly, you need to start proclaiming positive things. So sometimes I understand that life can be difficult. You can be so upset with yourself some days and you can say, oh, what, I'm just a failure. What a life. If you say all of those things, you begin to mirror what you are saying. So every morning, I do it as I'm walking downstairs. I say, today is a good day. Today, I am climbing up the career ladder. Today, I am speaking up in the public. Today, I'm directing my subordinates. I'm helping them review their work. I can do it. I know I can do this. I know I can do that. I just start prophesying all of those nice things to myself. Today, they are approving that letter. Today, I'm going to speak to the client. He's going to approve it. He's going to endorse the letter. Today, I'm going to talk to my boss. He's going to say, Abibat, you are taking charge next week. I just say all of those things to myself. And then before you know it, it just kind of happens that way. You go for a meeting, the client says, oh, yes, we approve. We go for this, and the client says, oh, yes. And they say, oh, wow, you're doing a good job, because I've told myself that I'm doing a good job. But if I go there and I say, oh, what, I'm just a failure, and they praise me, I'll be like, eh. Then you start having this, is it me? You don't want to find yourself in that situation. So I'll repeat all of those things I've said, just a recap. Focus on the big picture. Those are the things you need to start doing. Focus on the experience. What are you currently learning? Learn to network. Dress well. Speak in the public as much as possible. And start saying good things about yourself. So on that note, I'll move to things that you need to stop doing to thrive in your career. So I find that when people say you want to be successful in your career, what comes to their mind is, oh, I have to kiss ass. Sorry for that language, for the lack of better words. Or I have to be close to my boss. Please, at the end of the day, your work is going to speak for you. Don't focus on your boss. Focus on your work. What if your boss gets a transfer? Or what if they transfer you to another department? You need to brush up your skills, focus on the role, focus on the job. The next thing you need to do, I see that I'm really running behind schedule. I'll be very fast. Please, I'll be very fast. So also ensure that you don't make promises you can't deliver on. You need to stop that. Don't overpromise and underdeliver, please. And also, please start investing in yourself, please. Do not stop investing in yourself. You need to stop thinking that you cannot take up new challenges. You have to take up new challenges, things that will stretch you. You need to start taking up challenges. Then please do not stop embracing new ideas. Be creative as much as possible. Please stop being defensive. If people give you feedback at work to say, oh, you didn't do this well, don't say, how they used to do it. Please, oh, this is how we do it here. Don't be defensive, please. Also be a problem solver, not a problem identifier. Honestly, there's somebody in my team that when the person calls, I'm like, what's the problem again? Because the person is just going to tell you the problem. So you have the eyes for problem. He's going to identify all the problems. So you then ask him, so what do we do? And then there's silence in the air. So please always be a problem identifier and a problem solver. Please try as much as possible not to be in too much of a haste. So it happens to everybody. You want to become a director, you want to become a partner, you want to become this, you want to become that. It happens to everybody. But the honest truth is that those people have paid their dues. So there was somebody I saw recently online trending that she became a director at the age of 30. I was reading that caption and she mentioned something about, oh, when she was the manager 5 or 6 years ago. So she didn't just wake up to become a director. She didn't. So you need to understand that everything takes time. Please don't be in too much. I understand it happens to everybody, but just that consciousness that everything takes time. Do not stop asking for help. Sometimes even I speak to my subordinate, please, what do you think? I don't know everything. So I ask, what do you think? How do you think we can resolve this? And they say something fantastic. I'm like, wow, good. Please, let's roll with it. Please. Can't be racking my head again. I beg. So please bear that in mind. I see Sister Bumi looking at me. Please, I have to be very fast. I'm trying so hard. Okay, maybe I should just be very fast.
1 more minute.
Okay, how many more minutes?
1.
Wow. So let me quickly move. Okay, so a few words that I will leave you with. But before I leave you with those few words, please do not burn bridges. Please, those are things you need to stop doing. If you're tired of a job, own it. Resign nicely, peacefully. Do not burn bridges. Don't say bad things about the organization, please. And please don't shun opportunities. Don't look at a role profile and say, oh, they've asked for A to Z. I have just A and B. I can apply. At the same time, don't then apply for a role that you are totally unfit for. Because when you get there, they are going to expect that you will deliver on the job and you have to deliver on the job. So the few words I'm going to leave you with is that you have no control over the results, but you have complete control over your efforts. So please make the efforts. Yeah? No matter how talented you are, if it's not harder to break, it is very hard to break out in a very sluggish role. So you find that some roles, they have a career limit. You can't go past a particular limit in your career in that role. So sometimes if you find yourself in that sort of a role, sometimes in some organizations, it could be a customer service role. You might have to start thinking of how to switch your career. Please, you may have to start thinking about switch your career path. The other thing I was going to say is the easiest way to become successful is to analyze what other successful people are doing or they have done. It is so easy. Instead of you racking your head saying, no, how do I do that? Just try to follow people that have grown in their career, whether on their social media, whether on their LinkedIn. Try to do that as much as possible. Also, you will need a mentor to guide you as you climb up the career ladder. That is for sure. You can't know everything. You need somebody to always fall back on to say, so how do you think I should do this? Someone that you're free with, someone that you can share your ideas with, share experience with. Most importantly, you need to pray. That is critical because what God cannot do does not exist. All right, I think I am done.
Thank you so much, Viva. Thank you. Fantastic on collaboration and self-development. And I tell you the truth, there is no lie in everything you've said. I can give examples for every point, including visibility at work. I can give examples. It is the truth because I see it in my life and it is the honest truth. So thank you so, so much. And can I just leave this here because I know that a lot of us here, I think 99.9% of us here are ladies. If we have children, please help them in public speaking. It's never too late. You know, there's a lot of things that we're trying to do as adults. I feel that if we had been empowered as children, we would have been better now. Empower them in public speaking. It doesn't start in one day. It could be as little things as, you know, I tell my daughter, this is what I say. I give her a book and I say, stand up and start reading. And I correct her and I tell them, you know, posture well, voice out, put your head up. Because honestly, all of this started, Biba is there, like I said, I didn't meet her in school, but I did a lot of those things at school and it has definitely helped me where I am today. So let's help our children. Let's help our children, our boy children, our girl children in terms of public speaking, because all of this as well adds to confidence. You know, head up when you're talking, all of that at work, it does all add up. Problem solver. I love that as well. Don't just be a problem seer. People will just see problems. Ask them, what do you think you can do? Okay, mom, there's something, help them to think. Sometimes we can see problems, or because we're not thinking of the solutions, and the solution sometimes is embedded inside ourselves. So let us help our children in all of this: resilience, leadership skills, managing people, technology. I think someone was here earlier and she was saying, oh, how do you admit, technology is one that we all need it. It doesn't matter where you are in life, you do need technology, negotiation. So I'm not going to go back. You can go back and watch that video on YouTube. Somebody please do place the YouTube channel on the platform, and also the Pass the Baton future events form. So if you want to get to know more about us. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you. Please, let's say thank you to Biba. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to call the next person who is going to talk to us about references and rights at work. I can't see her. Where's that, Demi? Okay, yes, I can see her now. I'm just going to add her to Spotlight. Please add her to Spotlight for me. Okay, thank you. So Ademi, to be honest, I don't even have a profile to read, but I'm just going to say it as it is. I met her, I think about 6 years ago, am I correct? So where I work currently, trust me, she was the HR person that interviewed me. Everywhere I go, I always love people. I meet people, and I am so big on people. So she is much, much way older than I am. I don't want to tell you her age. I'm not going to scare her, but I can call her Auntie. That's how. She's way, way older than me, but she's been fantastic. And I remember she can tell you when I walked into the interview room, if I tell you my mark, she's there. I'm not going to lie. I got 4 out of 10. It's that bad. I got 4 out of 10. And later she was telling me that, oh, Bumi, someone got 10 out of 10. But she's here and she'll tell you the truth that someone got 10 out of 10. I got 4 out of 10. But the difference is how you talk and how people see you. And she said, as soon as you finish the interview, your manager said, that is the person I want. I don't care whatever mark she got. That's the person I want. I'm big on prayer. Honestly, prayer works. But also the way you carry yourself works a lot. Until today, I am there. And everything Biba said in terms of people actually collaborating with you. My manager is no longer there, the person that interviewed me then. But guess what? I don't want to use the word in love because love is for marriage, you understand? But it so much carried me in that job that when this role that I am in actually opened, I was on holiday in France, and Ademi is here. He actually emailed me for a job that I've never had experience in, and they took me in without an interview. That is the truth. I went for the interview, but there was no interview. And these things that we're talking about, they work like that, but you must know what to do. Obviously, like Biba said, you must pray. So Ademi is here. Thank you so much, sis, for coming tonight. I appreciate you. And I'm just going to leave you to just carry on. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Bumi is very right. My full name is Ademike Obomo. I'm from Edo State. So what it is, if you noticed, I didn't put any of my titles, any qualifications. That's not who I am. All I want from life is to be known as Ademi. It's one of those ones, many people have so many titles and everything, those things like that. For me, my belief is to be very humble, be very confident, be happy, celebrate everybody else. That's what I tend to do. My t-shirt, you can't see clearly, but it's things like that I carry on in life. And when I wake up, I'm very happy. Once my eyes, like a baby, open, it's like my day has started. People wonder why I'm always excited. In my mind, I say, you guys don't understand. In this life now, I appreciate life because if Bumi knows me very well, she's known me for years, I shouldn't be here now. But it's the grace of God. And then when people want to know why my excitement or what's shocking this one, it's to do with just waking up. It's good enough for me. It's the grace of God. I won't waste time because if not, we'll be here till midnight and we don't want that. We have homes to run and many things to do. I would say, I hope you all had a good day. And for now, it's going to talk about references. I'll leave references last. and then I'll go focus on our rights as employees or our rights at work. So it's one of those ones. First of all, you need to know your status. I've been in HR since 2001. I've got the HR qualifications. I've got different masters. I deep into so many things. Everybody giving me an opportunity to learn, even if it's maybe some fonts or the slideshows, anything, I would learn. I don't have any shame. I'm always grabbing opportunities. I've grabbed one on this platform, past the button. Some weeks ago when we had one of the topics we're given and we're blessed with opportunity to learn Scrum Master, I would say and put up my hands to say I'm one of the lucky ones. And I'm really, really grateful. I've been singing out, I said, why me? And sometimes, like Abibat was talking about self-development, it's all of those things, because the kind of attitude I used to have before now, it's like, that's not my thing. Because in my head, it used to be like, it's for IT. Why are you bothering yourself and everything? Why? It's not for me. I will never know. But I've changed my attitude. So it's about being humble, changing our attitude, working closely, like the other speaker has said, working closely with people. One of the things I learned from Bumi as well is at work, people are human. They look like they're human, but you don't know what their intentions are on a daily basis. So especially in HR or all our areas of work, I learned from Bumi to learn to pray. You know, sometimes you leave home, you rush, taking the kids to school, you're doing this, and the other. You get to your work, log in, and you start the day. You don't know what the plan is for the day. So most times I try to pray evil people around me and problem people. I just take it that God should take control of my day, the way I speak, but the most important thing, the way I treat people in HR. Sometimes people think I'm very loose or very, very nice, very kind. But what it is for me, and that helped me because many years ago, I started in customer service with a bank. I've worked in many industries, financial, the oil companies, and all of that, but even the private hospitals. But what it is what I've learned from life is in everything you do, treat people the way you want to be treated. You never know how it will come back. To help you, it might be your children. When I was growing up, I remember my parents used to say, we don't know where our children will go. That's why it doesn't cost anything to be good to people, because somehow in life, be it Birmingham, Nigeria, wherever, somebody will be out there. You don't know where your children will end up. So what you do to people, don't forget that if it's bad, it might come back to haunt you, the children, cousins, anybody. So let's be careful how we treat you. It doesn't cost anything. So I'll go into the rights of people at work. To know your rights at work, you need to know your status. So are you an employee, employed with a contract? Are you an agency worker? Are you self-employed? Are you a worker? Worker in the sense of being a casual person and freelance, that you could be a worker, you could be employed. So that once you know your status, then you would then know what rights you have. There are plenty, many people don't know. First of all, it's been, let's use to start with the employee. So if you're an employee, let me see, I was 1 second. Okay, I can't share my screen, so I'll carry on. It's okay. So if you're an employee, that means you are employed by a company, by an employer. You have a contract of employment, and then you take it from there. What you should know is that you should have a contract of employment, and that should be given. But many people believe that you must get it before you start or when you start. By law, you should get it within 2 months of starting. Most organizations are very good, and then it's like they want to give you the opportunity to even know and all of that. But like me, I'm very organized. Before you start, once we've sign that deal from the application to the recruitment process to selection and offer, then I take all the paperwork. Because some companies I've worked for, the probationary period is 3 months, some are 6 months. But I will tell you, if you understand people and you have I have love for people. I don't know if you ask me why I'm in HR. It's not the employment law, it's not the paperwork or the databases and all of that I use. It's people. There's something about people. I've always loved people from when I was growing up. So when you know you're an employee, it's one of those ones you just take it from there. I'd already started and prepared myself. Can you see my screen? Okay. So it's one of those ones. I've introduced myself. I won't go bother. I won't bother with the rest of it. So it's like knowing your rights of an employee, a worker, self-employed, even an agency worker or a contractor. You then know what your rights are. I won't waste time because we've gone to, and there are more speakers or there's more we can still gain for tonight. So it's like I said, it's like you must be given a contract within 2 months of starting a job. Some people look at their contracts. The first thing they look at is the job title, start date, and salary. They don't look at the rest. But it's good to look at other things because you want to show off your holiday, the statutory sickness or your sickness entitlement. Some people think it's the right, it's not. It's just an allowance per se. Some companies are very strict, some are very loose with it. Some people, like the government, will do 6 months full pay and maybe the medical profession and some other areas. 6 months full half pay, then goes to no pay. So it's understanding all of those things. Some company, the current one I work for, 4 days they start deducting pay. So it goes to weeks and then till it gets to statutory pay. And then, but some people don't know that. They just think, okay, I'll do a city. But when you get deducted, you get angry. One of the things to know about, again, another right you have at work is to at least earn nothing less than the national minimum wage. Currently, it's at $9.50. That's for the adult rates. There are different rates for 16 to 17, 18 to 20, and all of that. So it's like from 22, then you have nothing less than $9.50. I know we try, and it depends on, like Abibat was saying and Bumi was saying, it's like the skills, the qualifications, what you have to offer, and what the job is paying. So it's like when we are applying for jobs, it's about being confident. It's about being able to sell yourself. And then even Abibat was talking about the skills and the learnability and all the other factors we need to. Those are the skills as well. Excellent communication skills. Because apart from knowing or doing a research about a company, where they are heading, where you see yourself and what you can add, the impact you have in that company. Because some people go into work, they just want to be in a job, get paid, and that's all. Everybody has a part to play. Even the porter, the receptionist, everybody has a part to play. At work, I don't look down on people because I see everybody, a receptionist, cleaner, the porter, everybody. That's somebody's husband. That's somebody's father. I don't take them for granted. I would, like Abiba said, she never used to speak or say hello. I greet everybody on the streets. I think it's a Niger thing. And people look at me, it's like, did you know that one from somewhere? But it's like, for me, I see a human being. The person, you never know what that person is going through. Just a simply good morning or simple can change that person's attitude or even the outlook in life. She greeted me. She's in HR. I don't have two heads. I'm just normal. It's just God has blessed me and he will continue to bless me and all of us in Jesus' name. So another thing we should look at as our rights, which you must look at your pay slips, not for just for a joke or something. It's by law, you get a pay slip so that you can check your itemized, it does the salary, the month of pay, look at your deductions, NI and everything. Because I do payroll as well. I've done it in many jobs. Don't look at it that it's payroll that did it and it's correct. Since for the last few years, there's been real-time information sent to HMRC. If you don't get it right, it's you who will be going around trying to sort out the mess. So don't just think it's a piece of paper. Look at it, and that's, for me, the way I work in payroll is I give the people the opportunity, the employees, opportunity to look at their payslip, correct things, make amendments. Because I don't like repeating or correcting payroll in the next month. I want to do it before the payroll is printed. So I get people to check their payslips. If any change or if anything, let me know. Because sometimes you do the work, sometimes it's just maybe there's a spot check, and maybe somebody might not check what I've done. And say, so that's the opportunity. Look at it, and so the payslip is very important, and it's good to keep them, especially your P60, because it comes in handy when you are getting or claiming your pension and for the future. So don't throw away any P60. But most times when you get it, you don't get a copy. So always keep it for years. I've had mine for years and everything, because when it's time to retire, you'll be asked for copies of your P60. So that's very important. Then another thing we have is as an employee, it's the protection against any unlawful deduction. So no employer can just deduct from your wages. They need to inform you, even if it's a mistake and everything, it must be in writing to get a correction. Because somebody, maybe a colleague might say, oh, she's not been turning off, and they just go to deduct like that. By law, they can't. So that's one right you have. You can't just get your pay deducted. Then another compulsory thing is having your statutory holiday pay. By law, you get nothing less than 20 days plus, they say up to 28, which is 5.6 weeks in a year. But that can include, by law, the bank holidays. But most companies are very generous. They give you like 23 to 25 days plus bank holidays including. Then under health and safety, we get the statutory minimum rest breaks. So within 6 hours, you must get at least 20 minutes break. Anything past can be longer. But some companies, again, are very generous. Some people just give you 30 minutes, but some people will give you an hour. But by law, nothing less than 20 minutes. And then also you cannot be forced to work more than 48 hours in an average week. If anything, that they make you sign the working time directive, which you need to up and everything. You can't be forced. So if anybody is forcing you to work more than your contractual hours, you just tell them that you haven't signed the working time, the European working time directive. That's your right. So don't let anybody bully you or force you to do more than the hours. If not, they would get you to sign some paperwork, which will be put on file. And then you have a right to say, I don't want to do more than this anymore. And then that's you as well. Then under the, so like for the, most of those others who may not have the full statutory employment rights would be like the trainee doctors, the seamen, the police officers, and the armed forces as well. Some of them don't get that. But like trainee doctors, when they fully qualify, then they are full employees and then get the full employment because they're still in training. Then for under the Equality Act 2001, I'm sure everyone, it's in every contract, it's in every handbook. You cannot be discriminated against. If you feel anything, it's always good to speak to your HR department, because sometimes the HR would not know that the line manager is doing something, or even your colleagues. sometimes just if you want to just put in writing so that it can be looked at or what. Because some people out there and things like against bullying and harassment is in every some policies have it, some handbooks will have it, but nobody has the right. You're not paid to be harassed and bullied in the workplace. If you don't speak up, they will carry on. Because like bullies in the playground, when they push it and they carry on and you don't say anything or you just carry on accepting it, they will get worse and worse until you stand. It's just like in some children, even like they're 2, 3, small children are fighting over toys. There's some more confident than the other. They will stand up and tell you or warn you, if you do this again, that child, even if it's a child who is 2, 4 or whatever, or an adult, the person will not just go try it again. Like, oh, I've spoken, I better be careful of this person. It has a voice. And then it's always good for us to have a voice at work. Well, then another right we have, parents, and even if you're not, it's like maternity leave. So I'm not going to the breakdown of the criteria to qualify for maternity leave and not, but you ought to have been with your employer up to 6 months. And then everybody from day one is entitled to 1 year of the ordinary maternity and the additional maternity. But the ordinary maternity, which is the first 6 months, comes with pay. Depends on how long you've been with the employer. So again, if you've been there for 6 months, you get the maternity pay. Every company is different. Some are the basic statutory maternity, others are enhanced. And you get more than the statutory from the government. So if you've not been up to 6 months, the HR department will write to you and say, you don't qualify, you've not been with us for long, not up to 6 months, so you get the maternity allowance from the government. That's it. So it's like once you say you're pregnant or even you say you're going on paternity, they will tell you your entitlement. For paternity is 2 weeks. And then for maternity, you get the first 6 weeks at 90% or more. Then after that, for the next 33 weeks, you then get paid for 33 weeks, which will be 156. And for statutory, for paternity, it depends on the company. Some people pay for 1 full week, and the others you get it at the statutory rate, which is also 156.66. Adoption leave is the same. But in all of this, there's the option to get the shared parental, which many companies have worked for the last few companies where it was introduced. Many people don't go for it because sometimes you get the time off, you have to work with your partner or your husband to then take some off, and immediately you give up your rights. You then don't get paid. You go to basics, and then the two companies, it's kind of complicated. It starts speaking to each other to take permission for the father, the mother to go off, and then the father to take on. But then it affects pay, so most people don't go for it. They just let the woman maybe do that. And some people choose to do the additional because it affects paying for childcare as well. So you can look into that. It's on the .gov website. It's on the many of the even the employment lawyers, they put up all the criteria for you to qualify for pay or additional, but everybody is entitled from the one joining the employment maternity. So what I found over the years is like some women are more open to talk about their maternity leave. Of course, first of all, you think it's a secret. It's an open secret. Women will later start talking about it. Their stomachs will show, but men, they hide it. In some companies I've worked for, they don't want you looking at them like, so your wife is pregnant or something. Some of them leave it till the last second, forgetting that they're entitled to it. It's not a thing of shame. It's HR you're talking to. I would expect we are all confidential. And then it's what you do. And then once somebody tells you, my wife is expecting, they don't have to be an employee of that company. you start preparing and telling them what their entitlement is, all they need to do, I'm going to submit what, and then also how it affects their pay. If they want to take just the 1 week, some people add annual leave to it, but it's good to talk about shared parental, leave, and then it's all of that. So there's more to it. It's just being open with you and having somebody in HR you can trust. Some people feel more comfortable talking to their line managers, and then the line manager will go to HR. What we always forget is that you are the employee. You don't need your line manager speaking for you, because they're going to pass the information. You don't know what they're going to say there. So just if you don't want to talk to somebody you're not used to, send an email to HR or for a meeting, or let them know by email, and then they would send you your entitlement. But for me, I like talking to people, because then you find out more, you can see how you can help people. Take it from there. Thank you. So another right we have at work is you have the right to be protected. You are a whistleblower, so you might find something going on, somebody is planning something against the company or something is not right, and you whistleblow, but you are supposed to be protected. And there's people who you need to, in your policy or this handbook, who you should talk to, and then your line manager should, if your line manager is aware, HR, they shouldn't even be going to talk to other line managers to say, guess what, me is the one who told everybody. Can you imagine? Can't be trusted. So it all happened, and then you should be protected. That's your right. And then unpaid time to attend training, apart from the ones organized by your organization, or during your appraisals on your patient and all of that. You should be able to, like Abibat was saying, it's grabbing the opportunity, even if it's weekends, to take time to develop yourself. Some line managers, if you don't have a good, or if you don't have a good relationship with your line manager, they may never send you on training. And if you don't put yourself forward and fight for your rights, it might not happen. So that's another right you have. Take time off, even if it's unpaid, attend even for parental leave or the unpaid one, or one of those extra leaves, because sometimes the nursery might call you, or the school and everything. You just have to drop everything you're doing. There might be a project, but let your line manager, you can just walk out and then read something and quickly go to attend and come back and take it from there. You have a good relationship with your colleagues. They might cover and do some bits for you. Take it in turn to also help them as well. If you work very well together, nothing is hidden. They would even be the ones telling you, if it will do it and everything, you just go. Then that's it. Then another protection, which is very important, it's when you are pregnant, or if you are maternity, or like maybe you have maternity leave and everything, you have a protection and all of that. During sometimes in some companies I've worked for, we've had a 2P transfer or redundancy and everything. The first thing you first hear is that, oh, we have to protect the protective characteristics. We have to protect them. Because she's maternity leave or she's pregnant, she cannot be sacked. That's not what the law says. If, let's say, but you have to be given a reason if they can't find work which is similar for you. Because an example is my last company was an oil company. The oil company they've not been doing very well. So the business was not doing very well in terms of sales of oil. So there was a redundancy. And we had some people on maternity and everything. Some of them, the roles were created in the new scheme of things, but some none. But you have to explain why. And then you do, they're entitled to redundancy pay, depends on how long they've been with the company. Everybody has employment rights from when they're 2 years old. But things like protecting you about disability, harassment, and all of that, it's from day one. But things like having employment rights and all of that, or redundancy pay and other things, you ought to have been in the company for 2 years, or you can get those rights. Before then, nothing. If you're made redundant, if the company is only kind to you, they might just pay you maybe 1 or 2 years of service if you've been there long enough. It's not a complete year, it's not compulsory. On the .gov website, you can get the redundancy calculator because it's based on length of service, your age, and other factors. Maybe there's going to be ex gratia payment, so the extra from the company, sick pay, maybe there's holiday pay and everything. But when you have employment rights, your HR department or your line manager with HR during your session meetings will tell you at some point, if you get to that point, tell you what you're entitled to. Everything will be in writing. For workers as well, so we talked about being an employee, a worker, and all of that. For workers, you have the national, I can't pronounce, I've just lost it. The national minimum wage and the production of, so you're protected again in case of reduction of wages, the rest breaks, and no working more than the 4 hours as well. That's the European working time directive and all of that. Then you may be entitled to statutory sick pay. Depends on the sickness entitlement, your policy, and all of that. Some people you might not be entitled to anything because you might have just joined and it throws you straight to statutory pay and all of that. So in the handbook, it will always tell you, and where you have employment rights, it will tell you that as well. And then workers don't get notice in employment, like a casual and everything is there's work, casual. It's one of those contracts. It's like if there's work, 0 hours and everything. Some people, you don't get anything. Some people get called when there's work. After that, they walk away themselves. So things like that, you don't get paid for redundancy, you don't get for dependence or like emergency leave. And for the agency workers, I just left that very briefly. It's working through an agency you're registered with, and then pay you directly. So you're not on the employee payroll, you just come in. But you still have rights to like the canteen, the machine, let's say the baby room and many other things. But after 12 weeks, you qualify as a colleague who maybe have other entitlements permanent with that employer. It's your agency who you work with directly. Ask questions after some weeks, and the agency will pay you some kind of holiday and all of that, but the employer won't do that. When you are sick with the agency, you don't get paid. That's why many people, if they don't like, even when they are ill, even with COVID, some people are still managing to see if they can get in. It affects their pay. And that's me, man. And also, we didn't talk briefly, I just talked briefly about the references. So after the recruitment and the selection process, and then you get offered the job, most companies would either do it directly themselves through HR or get a third party, check references, and then just check your status, your qualifications, all the things you've told the company about. And then if there are doubts or in between, because some people mix their dates up. So it's always good on your CV as you're updating always something, because if you've really done that job, you should remember what year you started. Even if you don't get the exact date, at least get the months right. And on the other hand, some companies are good, not good because they don't want to be involved with all the mess around references. So by law, you should give a good reference, because the candidate you are doing the reference for, even if you had issues, deal with it when the person is still in employment. Don't give a bad reference because it will come back to haunt you. At some point when somebody is not getting a job, they have a right to check what's going on or what has been said about them. and that next employer can show them that reference. So it's better to say, I don't want to, or more in the position to give a reference than to give a bad one. It would affect their status, and you are depriving somebody getting a job or a livelihood because you don't know if the person is even the breadwinner in the family. So don't, that's wickedness. That's how I see it. For me, it's better not to, or just say, I can't do that. And they go to the next person of the HR. But most companies these days have a legal saying or like a quote at the back of the reference. Most companies will confirm start date, your name, start date, leaving date, job title. Most companies don't even talk about the salary. They won't even confirm. They won't talk about your skills or whether you are reliable and all of that, because that can cause problems as well. How reliable. And then if at some point it comes back to bite you, they will come back to say you gave a false reference. So be your friend, somebody you're helping. I think the safest thing to do is just start date, leaving date. If you want to be kind, if it's a personal reference, just talk about having to then say you worked with this person, talk very briefly about, but don't vouch. It's safer not to say too much, but do a reference if you want to be kind to that person. For some people, they've left the company. Some people don't want to remember they worked there, or they didn't have a good relationship, or they were not nice to their colleagues. But what we forget is that that's your colleague today. You don't know where they will be today. Good thing I was good to Bumi, and many people I've spoken to many people along the way. From my first job in this country, many years ago, Bumi said I'm auntie. So everybody can go on to and just guess my word. I'm in the 50s, but it's one of those ones in my head, and I don't care what everyone says. I'm 21. I still behave like most of my friends are even younger than me. I've got older friends and everything. Because I find some of my age mates, they're too old for my liking. It's not like I think I'm somebody or anything. It's like they drag me down, or with their whinging or something. I don't like whinging. I'm always bubbly. I want to learn from people. You can be 40 years younger than me. If you have you must always have something to offer. It's like I can come to anybody's level. My older ones, friends, relatives, people as I go along the way. I have friends of all ages. It's not about not having shame or anything. It's like I can get on with people, anybody from any walk of life. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Can you stop sharing your screen, please?
I'm going to do that now.
Thank you. I just want to see your face. Thank you so much. If you are in a place where you can take off your camera, I just want to do something. If you're in a place where you can take off your camera, please do. If you are in a place where you can take off, let me view gallery. We'll take just more time today. If you're in a place where you can take off your camera, please do quickly. I just want us to just, with hands of everything, can we give Ademi a round of applause? And I'll tell you why in a minute. Just clap for her. Just, if you cannot take yourself off camera, please virtual. Please. And I'll tell you why. You can see that she's speaking very, very, very slow. And you can see that she's trying her best. She can't pronounce some words. And if you knew her before, she was a talkative. She was so good at talking. But she had a major surgery. And I tell you, she had to learn to talk again. So it's indeed a glory button, for her to be able to talk tonight. It took a long time for her to talk. She had to learn to do everything all over again. It was a big one. And I'm saying this because there's permission from her, but I just wanted her to continue to be that woman that she used to be. And I told her that it doesn't matter. You are coming on tonight. And I really appreciate it. And that's why I didn't cut you off at all. I wanted you to finish everything that you started. And I appreciate you. just like yesterday, God is good to you, sis. God is kind to you. We appreciate you. We say thank you. On behalf of everyone at Pass the Baton, we raise our hands to God for you. We say thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Let's give her. Come on. Thank you so much, sis. I love you. Thank you. God bless you. God bless you. It took a long time, but we are here now, and there's no going back. God bless you. There is no going back. So quickly, I'm going to call the last person. Please do bear with us. You know the reason now. Please do bear with us. The last person is talking about disciplinary action and grievances. I'm going to just take Ademi off the spotlight here. Thank you, sis, whoever did that. Disciplinary action and grievances. At work, you know, just like in normal life, grievances do happen. These things do happen, and we have to know a way. There's a way to deal with it. You know, out of work, you can say, oh, this person did this to me, but you can't do that at work. You know, you have to respect yourself. It doesn't matter who you are. You need to just respect yourself. So tonight I'm introducing my friend from, I think I must have been 8 or 7 when I met Ronke. We've been through everything. I always say she's meant to marry us, but she ran away. Well, yeah, she didn't marry us, but we are still here. You know, I love her so much. We don't talk all the time, but she knows we are very, very tight like that. Yeah. And Ronke, thank you so much for coming tonight. Today, you are our speaker. You're not a guest.
Oh my God.
On Pass the Baton. So there you go, sis. Go on. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Do you know, I was just thinking that, are we still talking about it? Because I'm looking at the time, and I know you're very time conscious. So I'm very mindful of that as well. So hello, everyone. So I'm Ronke. I've, like Vivian said earlier, I fell into HR as well. So I started about maybe 14 years ago. And my first job was like setting up the office from scratch, like the HR function, payroll, everything from scratch. I was thrown into the deep end, basically, and I survived, and I'm still surviving. I'm here. And yeah, so I've moved, you know, from in different roles, like HR, L&D, recruitment, and now mostly I work as a global payroll manager. And like Ademi said, I'm not a title person myself. Actually, when I send out emails, I usually delete my signature, mostly, you know, so yeah. So we haven't got that much time, but I think it's just to pick up on a few things to say, you know, obviously grievances happens at work, and grievances can be raised against you, or you can raise it against somebody else. And, you know, sorry, those are my kids. So you might just see, I'm hoping that my son would not decide to just pop in, so just bear with me, but I'm going to try and be very fast, please. So grievances usually they're concerns that you might have or somebody has, or problems or complaints that an employee raised with the company. And the purpose of grievance is to ensure that any concerns concerning the workplace are dealt with in a fairly and in a timely manner, you know, so if a grievance is raised, it's done that. So what are things that it could cause a grievance? There are things like maybe terms and conditions of employment, you know, maybe not being met, or health and safety, or work relations, or bullying and harassment. Like Ademi said about, you know, you're not allowed to nobody should bully at work. It is unacceptable, you know. If your manager talks to you in a way that is not right, you can have a word, and if it continues, please do raise with your HR person, yeah? The working practice at work, it could be the work environment, or, you know, maybe there's a change in the organization or discrimination, you know. So, yes, like I said, you know, someone can raise a grievance against yourself, but usually grievances in most cases are raised maybe against somebody like a manager, or, you know, things like that. But if you're being harassed, definitely you can raise a grievance. When a grievance is raised, usually in most cases, they try to have like an informal resolution where, you know, you and your manager, you're encouraged to kind of talk about it, try and understand the situation and see if it can be diffused in an informal way. But if you still feel, and, you know, if you still feel like your manager is unable, you know, so for example, if it's a grievance that you've raised, like I said, if it's against your manager, obviously you can't raise that grievance against your manager. So you have to go to your HR person or the next line. So it could be like your manager's manager, you know, in terms of grievances. But where the grievance cannot be resolved informally, or they're very serious, then you can raise up a formal grievance. But usually what they would advise or encourage you to do is first of all do an informal one where, you know, you talk about these things, you let them know what the issues are, and things like that. But obviously, if it's not being resolved to your, to a satisfactory level, then you can definitely raise a formal grievance. So you have to submit your concerns in writing to your manager, but obviously if it's against your manager, you go to the next line up, or your HR person, and you make sure you do it as soon as possible. Don't delay, because if you do delay, then it could turn around against you, if you know what I mean. But don't delay. As soon as you feel like, okay, I've raised this thing, maybe something happened at work, you raised it and it's not been dealt with, make sure you put it into writing and keep those things, keep track of your date, the time, and the things that you're doing. And what would happen is that once you give that grievance in, you'll be invited to a meeting, to a hearing where they'll talk about it. And in that meeting, your manager will be there. Say, for example, if it's against a colleague, your manager will be there. An HR person will also be there to take notes and also to give guidance where needed as well. So they will investigate your grievance. They might talk to people, if there are witnesses, they might review relevant evidences or whatever, what have you. And then, and once it's been, once you've had that grievance, so they'll go where they'll think about it, not think about it, they'll review what, the evidence and talk about it, and they'll come back to you and come back to you in writing to say, this is the outcome of that grievance. Like I said, you're allowed to have somebody, and I think Ademi said it as well, you're allowed to bring somebody, it could be a work colleague to the meeting, or it could be a union member, but they're not allowed to speak on your behalf. You can confer with them. I know in most cases, like with NHS, again, different companies do different things. So let's just be mindful that, with HR, there are different sectors and people do different things differently. I think mostly NHS, they use a lot of union members, but in private sectors, you don't tend to see union members. You might see a colleague that will go with you. So you're allowed to talk to them, but they cannot speak on your behalf. So let's say, they're talking and they think of something, they have to speak with you, and then you can then raise it with your manager or whoever's at that place. So you'll be given the outcome usually within in writing, and then you have the opportunity to appeal. If you don't like the decision they've made, you have the opportunity to appeal, and usually it's about 5 to 7 days. So make sure that if you do wish to appeal, make sure you do it on time. Don't leave it till late. And then then that appeal then goes to the appeal manager, and wherever the final outcome is, that is it. You can't do anything further than that, basically. But in most companies, definitely, they don't want to upset their staff. Most companies generally want to look after their staff. They don't want to upset you. They want the best outcome. They want the best outcome for those parties that are involved. So that's on grievances. But then in terms of disciplinaries, sorry, I'm just starting backwards. So with disciplinaries, it's mostly to do with someone's performance at work or behavior, really. And I know that Abiba spoke about how to thrive at work. And when it comes to performance, if you're not thriving, if you're not performing well, obviously, it usually kind of results in disciplinary actions. But before it gets there, usually the manager should have had like an informal work conversation with you to say, come on, you're not pulling your weight, we need you to pull your weight, and they'll have that conversation with the person. And if the person is not kind of like pulling their weight still, then it could lead to a formal one. But one of the things I like to advise or to suggest is in terms of thriving at work, always ask your manager for feedback. Don't think that my manager knows what I'm doing. Even if your manager says that you're doing well, ask them for feedback. Say, what is this like? What can I do to improve? Nobody's ever 100%. Ask for feedback. It's part of your way to thrive. Go onto your learning and development platform, try and learn stuff. You're going to have your appraisal at the beginning of the year. Make sure you get your manager to appraise you, to set your objectives, so that you would have something you're working with to say, okay, these are my objectives for the year. These are my expectations. And then, as you go along, make sure that those expectations have been reviewed. And then you do like your mid-year review to say, okay, where are we? What it is that I need to do better? What is it that I'm not doing? Because what happened with most of us is that we don't do it. And then it comes to the year end, we're like, but I've been doing these things. And the manager said, no, you're not performing. You're like, no, I am performing. So even if you're not having those one-to-one, make sure that you're documenting everything you're doing. Make sure that if you did a project and you did really well, write it down, put it somewhere so that you don't forget. Because also what happens to us is that when we don't document things, when it comes to the appraiser, we don't remember these things. We don't know what to say. Or somebody, for example, maybe you just miss, and I mean, not all managers. I've been in a situation, not me, I've seen a situation where the guy was doing so well, but just missed one thing and there was one complaint. And before they knew it, it was already becoming like a performance improvement plan. I was like, well, you have never they've never had a conversation with you before. So, why is it come to this point? Make sure that, even if someone want to put you like a disciplinary action, if they've never had a conversation with you, make sure you challenge it. Don't just let it slide, because it's going to go on your record if it becomes a formal one. And even some informal ones tend to be on your record as well. So make sure that, you're raising it, So that's one thing. Just a few things that I want to raise as well. Like I said, make sure you're keeping in touch, you're doing your stuff, but also in terms of the thriving and also linking into this performance issue. Like when someone goes on maternity, one of the things I want to say is that most of us, when we go on maternity, for example, we don't check in back at work. We're like, oh, we're off for the 1 year. And then you come back to work. And then you start to struggle because obviously you've kind of because it's not easy to be at home for a year. There are things that you're going to forget. And, sometimes also when we have babies, we become emotional. So, or we just lose that interest in that work. We don't want to work in that place anymore. But also I would say to thrive in your work, make sure, please, even if you're going on maternity, it's not like say you log into your workplace, but just every now and then, keep in touch with your manager, find out what is happening at work. So you're abreast at what is the information that's happening. So, if ever a disciplinary was raised, hopefully not, because it's never a good experience. Nobody wants to be told that they're not performing well. But again, you have to remember to keep your facts. If you're setting an objective that is not smart, you have to also make sure that you challenge it there. Don't say, oh, yes, I'm going to, if your manager say, for example, they say, oh, we're going to give you a target to reach 50 customers, and you say it's doable, but it's not doable. Sometimes as Christians, I would say this, we use our faith. It's good to use our faith, but sometimes you have to be realistic as well about your abilities and what you can do. I think it was Habiba that was saying that, sometimes, you want to go for a job, but make sure also that when you're going to a job, you want to perform as well. So, so make sure, please, my thing is that just document whatever thing you're doing at work, even if you're thriving, still document it. Document the things that you're doing well. Ask for feedback, the things that you're not doing well, because in case any of these things comes, you've got things like, people will say, oh, yes, you've got your evidence, to say you're doing well. And also, please, I would say is, don't become so, what's the word? Because sometimes we get so comfortable in our role that we don't really, we get so comfortable because we feel like we know everything, if that makes sense. But don't get too comfortable on any job. Nobody is indispensable. Yeah, so please, with that, I would say, let's make sure. So, I mean, there are processes to disciplinary action anyway, like I was saying. So, they have the informal, where you would have had an informal chat to say, this is what my expectations are. And usually with informal chat, most people tend to turn around and start performing, but some people would not turn around and they'll also not perform. And then this then goes to what they call the informal disciplinary action. And then then goes to a written, to a formal action, a formal disciplinary, where you then go into a meeting, and then, there's a meeting that's held, and in this meeting, obviously they're documented, they can stay, you get a warning that stays in your file for 12 months to say, in the next 12 months, we're going to reveal how you're working. They'll set you goals, realistic goals, and then, they'll catch up to see how you're doing. And then that keeps going for the next 12 months. And that can go on your record and keep it for the next 12 months. But after 12 months, obviously it can't be used against you, but it's not going to leave your record. So it's still going to be there. So it's always good. I will always encourage everyone that, try and do and perform. But also different reason where, you could have a disciplinary action. Again, it could be due to misconduct as well, where maybe somebody said you've behaved in a way that is not appropriate, or it could be maybe somebody's misused the company properties. There are various reasons why, you can go into disciplinary actions. Or maybe it could be, I think me and I were on one, for example, when someone said somebody slept at work, and unfortunately, someone took their picture and then, then gave it in. And, also one of the things I would say is as well, if you're going through a disciplinary action, don't become, I'm looking for the right word to use. Don't just see like, oh yeah, I can get another job, or, don't do like, I don't care really, like, oh, I can leave this job and get another job. So they might not be allowed to give you a bad reference, but no reference is also a bad reference, if you know what I mean. Like, if someone keep asking for your reference, they refuse to give a reference because, it's also a bad reference, but they've not said it's bad, they've implied it, if you know what I mean. But also, in some sectors, again, it depends on the sectors, like if you're working in social care, where they're allowed to disclose, for example, if you've misbehaved or you've done something. In some sectors, they're probably allowed to do that. I've not worked in social care, but I think it's allowed, as from what I've heard. So so things like that could also go into your record. From having a written warning for the first one, if the person is still not performing, then what they will do is they will give them what they call a final written warning. And depending on the company, some people, it will stay in your file for 18 months. And if so, there's still no improvement, and then that person can get sacked, basically, and lose their job. But what I would say to people is try and avoid getting to that situation. And how do you avoid it? Again, having one-to-one with your manager, getting feedbacks, whether it's good or bad, make sure you're documenting them, make sure you're constantly asking for feedback, make sure you're going on your learning and development platform to learn. And most companies have these things where you can learn more. Make sure you're going there to learn. I think I also wrote something down. Again, what I would say is that constant feedback, mostly all the time. Asking your manager, if your manager says you're doing well, ask them. I've been in a situation, and I'll tell you, where someone was telling me, oh yeah, you're doing so great. And I know I'm doing so great, but then I then send them this anonymous feedback, to the team. And then I just saw this person writing all this, and again, there were things I thought, okay, is this jealousy or is this for real? Do you see what I mean? And I was like, okay, interesting, But again, like I said, your feedback, have it documented. If someone gave you a negative feedback, don't take it too wrongly. Go and ask them and say, okay, why did you give this feedback? So that you can improve on it, because sometimes we get a feedback and we're like, oh, it's so negative, we don't want to discuss it. Discuss it with them. Try and understand. Again, for example, you can want a promotion at work and your manager is saying this is what you deserve. And you're like, I think I deserve more than this. And if your manager says, oh, you deserve this, then ask them, why do you think I deserve this? What skills do I need to gain to get more? Well, in the next 1 year, I want to be able to work on it. Don't be shy. One thing I say is this: you spend most of your hours at work, whether you're working virtually or not. Most of our living daily basis is spent at work. So you have your right at work. Don't be shy. Ask questions. What can I do to be better? So that it doesn't come to the point that you then come into a disciplinary action. So, but if you ever find yourself in it, there are processes. Speak to your HR people. They're the gatekeeper. They are for your manager or your company, as well as they're for you. Because if someone dismisses you unfairly and you take them to the tribunal, the company will still be in trouble as well. But what I would advise is, please, let's also, be the best at work and not to get to that situation. I think I have covered everything, but with disciplinary and grievance, it's quite hard. Vivian and I were saying this earlier on. It's quite hard to kind of like give advice, but unless there's a specific situation where someone is in a situation, please reach out to me. We're happy to talk to you offline if you want to. We're happy to kind of understand what the situation is, so that then we can then advise it, or we can then say this is what you need to do, or that is what you need to do. But generally, I can only give an overview, and it's quite hard when it comes to that area to kind of give an advice online or to give an advice to everybody. But if there's anyone that that's got anything that is going at work that they need to discuss, or any issues, please do reach out to Bumi and then Bumi can reach out to us, and we will be happy to have a meeting with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ronke. Yeah. Thank you. And thanks everyone for still being here. I still have 43 people.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So thank you so much. I know tonight I've taken a lot of your time.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, 23 minutes over. We apologize. Yeah. But thank you so much, Ronke. In terms of writing down, feedbacks and asking for, I call it continual CSI, continual service improvements. There's always a place to develop yourself. And another thing, like I think Vivian put it in the chat that has helped me is anything I do, I document. I have a folder called Bouquet that I put things in. If people mention anything nice, I put it in. And also in terms of appraisal, if you have 5 things on your appraisal, make sure that you are eating those 5 things first. before you go and do every other thing. Because at the end of the year, it's those 5 things that they will talk to you about. You can add those other things, but those 5 things, they're very important. And if you know you're not going to meet them, don't leave it till the end of the year. Speak to your manager. Constant feedback with your manager is very, very important. If I can just add quickly, people who have spoken tonight, I'm adding you all to Spotlight. I think Biba and Vivian, if you want to put your video on, I'll wait for you. I have a question. We're only going to take 2 questions tonight just because of time. We're only taking 2 questions. I've got one. Someone says there's a feeling that HR is usually on the side of management and not the employee. Yes or no? You need to unmute yourself.
No, I mean, because like I said earlier on, no company wants to be in a deep water, if you know what I mean. Obviously, if you're not performing, they're going to be on the side of your manager. Is that simple? But if you're performing, like I said, you've documented everything, you can prove that, this is this, they're going to advise your manager rightly. They're not going to, the HR is there as a gatekeeper. Like I always say, they're there, to be the gatekeeper. They're for you, they're not against you. But, again, like I said, I don't know why the person has said that, but they might want to
she works in the NHS. Okay. And that in the NHS is so much bureaucracy.
I think a lot of NHS staff feels like that, because my mom works in NHS as well. So I do feel like, but I don't think that's true, because my sister actually worked for NHS, and my friend actually, who's an HR person, works for NHS. And when my sister had an issue, she actually came in and then spoke to her manager, and it was resolved. So, she even told the manager to say, oh, have you followed this step for this person? She didn't do it because she was my sister, but she did it because she was there as the gatekeeper to make sure that things have been done. Again, like I would say, just a quick one that I forgot to add earlier one is that, if you're working every week or every other week, give a summary of what you've done. What has worked, what hasn't worked. These are the things that will help you. Don't forget to do that. So yeah, that's mine, but I'll let the other people go as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to add to that, actually, as nice as I am, I had a grievance against someone. So it can happen to anyone. I won, but I won with evidences. It's good to keep your evidence. Evidence is like a court case. It's like a lawyer thing, this grievance thing. It's a proper court case. So you keep your evidences, and what they did was, obviously they started to investigate people, and a lot of people were with me because they all said, oh yeah, we've seen him say this, we've seen him do that, we've seen him. At the end of the day anyway, he had to leave because he didn't fit into the culture of the organization. And like Ronke rightly said, they have a name and a culture for themselves, and they're trying to protect themselves as well, especially, where we have now diversity and inclusion and every other thing that is happening around the globe. So very important. I've got one hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, sis, and you can fire on. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Yeah, I have a question, and it's about social activities at work. I'm in a place where I'm like the only Black person in the small team, and because it's a newly formed team that we just started, and we are the ones that started the team together. So they've been trying to organize like this after work get together. And one was supposed to take place last weekend, but because I had a church program, I had to tell them that I wasn't going to attend. But my worry is someone's birthday is coming up, and they're like planning another after work party and things like that. I'm not too comfortable because I'm a kind of person that I don't believe in office gossip. And when you talk bad about people in a small office, and then you still find peace at gathering together to do office party or after work something, it makes me, as a Christian, it makes me feel very uncomfortable. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to pass on that one as well. But I noticed that they've started picking on little things I do. And at first, I didn't want to see it as discrimination. So they wouldn't say, oh, Black people have come again with screaming discrimination. But they would say sometimes they'll make things like, oh, Temi is a Christian. She wouldn't want to do that. And it's not that I'm feeling offended, but I'm feeling like being sidelined. And I'm like a dilemma. Should I join them to attend parties where I know drinks will be shared, and I don't take alcohol? I don't believe in talking at people's back and then smiling at them when they are there. So I'm in a kind of dilemma, and they keep inviting me for things, and I've got one. I'm supposed to give them a response. I've got two. I'm supposed to send responses, but I've not been comfortable enough, and I've noticed that they're already picking on me and saying things behind me and sometimes to my face. So what should I do in that situation, please?
I've got Vivian's hand up already, overhand. So I have an answer, but
Okay.
yeah, let me leave it to the experts. Go on, Vivian.
So I've literally stepped out of the car because the light keeps going off. So pardon me because I'm literally just standing on the street. I didn't catch the name of the lady with the dilemma. Sorry,
Let's
what's
just
your
say
name?
T for the sake of,
T.
we're on
Okay.
hair.
Okay. T. I totally resonate with what you just described, but life is about balance. Okay. I don't drink alcohol, but I also don't do office politics because of my faith and just my principle. But I need to build relationship with the people that I work with, because the more I get to know what happened to their dog, their cat, their plates that broke, the more working with them makes life so much easier. And having been a business partner for so long, the best relationships I've built have been between 12 midnight and 2 a.m. business meetings, working far away country, far away from my home. I'm not saying everybody needs to do that, but the one thing I've come to realize is work is about relationship. Anybody can do the job. But the question is, can I be locked with you in the same room for 8 hours? Consultants will know this very much. And I'll still be able to survive, whether that's from sharing the last drop of water or the last slice of pizza. And the only way I can get to that point is when I know beyond the facade that we all show up to work with. So in a nutshell, at the beginning of starting this sort of things, it made me feel uncomfortable many, many years ago, because I'm like, oh, then I just moved to London from Leicester, and I was like, everybody is out and it's summertime. I don't drink alcohol. Actually, there's something called mocktail. It's the non-alcoholic version of the alcohol drink all your colleagues are drinking. So the reason why I have everybody's I know everything about everybody's, because everybody's getting drunk. I'm still drinking the same mojito. Mine is virgin. I am not getting drunk, and I'm getting all I am. So I've used this to my advantage, and you have to pardon me. This is on YouTube. You have to pardon me for generalizing, but let's not get too Christian about this, because we're dealing with human beings here. And you need to meet your colleagues in the middle, right? The same way your colleague tomorrow might go, I really like the way you show up on Monday. And you'd be like, oh, because I went to church on Sunday. And one day they're like, can I come to church with you? And they've never been to church before. That's a middle ground for them, because they want to get to know you the same way you show up to the bar. And I totally appreciate that you have church service, but girl, you probably had church service many, many years before now, and two, ain't gonna change your Christianity. So get in that bar, get in those conversations. You don't need to gossip, but it will help you. And you would learn so much about yourself and your colleagues as well. And I feel like it works for a lot of people. I wish someone told me this when I started earlier, but it doesn't hurt the bank. And it's not being a disservice to me. That's my 10 pence.
I think you've hit it on there. That's what I was about to say. And yeah, so true, everything. I feel that as a Christian, we cannot, put our Christianity away from work. It's important. You're a Christian at work. The love of God comes first. And I feel that if you put love first, you wouldn't see every other thing. You're there as a light. And yes, you're not gossiping. When you go there, I go to the pubs. I go and I sit down at Weatherspoons. Ademi knows I would sit down. I would eat. I might tell them that, you guys want to stay till 12. Can I please leave at 10? And they totally get it. They understand it, because they know that you have a life, and there are values, and there are boundaries as well that you keep. And to be honest, they would love you for it. Do you understand? So, I will give you an example. I had a deployment week last week. So I was meant to start work from 6. I was meant to work on Saturday and Sunday. You know that there's a church program. But guess what? I've been telling them about this Thy Kingdom Come concerts. I've been saying it since. So like everybody knows. So as soon as the deployment weekend came on, my boss was like, Bumi, I know on Sunday, she has said she has this concert that she's going to. So don't worry, Bumi, about Sunday. I'll step in for you. And he did. And on Monday, guess what? As soon as I got in, I'm like, see my concert. And they were like, wow, is this small? Because they were thinking it was something small. By the time he said, it was like, no, if you had missed that, I would not have been happy, you know. So it's also, you know, loving on them, being with them. You're not talking about anybody, but you are showing the light of God in you. That look, we are all together. But like Vivian rightly said, if you want to work well with people, you must be able to know about them, not just at work. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. There's a lot that they want to talk to you about. There's a lot that you can advise them on. There's a lot that you can pray. You know, sometimes I ask them, is it okay to pray for you? And they would say, yes. There's a lot that we can do. So as children of light and as children of God. So thank you so much, Vivian. Last person, please.
Sorry,
I'm going to ask you.
Can I just quickly add?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. Can I quickly just add, you know, when you went for an interview, they were going to look at you that, can you fit into the team? So from then, they looked at you like you can fit into this team. So if you're like, oh, I don't, you know, I mean, legally, by law, they can't discuss work that would discriminate you even when they go to the pub. That's not allowed. But that being said, like Vivian said, you know, they're not allowed to go and give a promotion because you don't go to the pub with them. They can't do that. It's not allowed by law. So, you know, in that they can't discriminate. If that's happened, yes, you can complain and you will get your way, so long as you've got evidence that it's happening. But that being said, like, you know, I said earlier, you spend 8 hours maybe or 9 hours at work. You spend the most of your time at work. So, you know, in church, maybe you spend 5 hours in the week. So these are the people you spend the most time with as well. So, you know, again, when someone comes for an interview, I'm looking at this person, can they fit in my team? Can they have a relationship? If they can't, I will not take, even if you have experience, I won't take you. So, you know, just have that mindset, everyone, that, you know, most jobs that you go to, sometimes it's not even what you've scored, it's more about how you can relate, where they feel like, oh, this person will come into our team and they'll be part of the team. So
thank you. I'm just going to read out the comments. Biba says, you also have to change your mindset towards them because this is actually affecting your interaction with them. And Vivian says, by the end of the day, they are humans and we are relational beings. Skills can be taught. And that says we are relational beings. We're humans. We are relational beings. The last person is that Oldbrook? Oldbrook, if you can just unmute yourself. The only guy in our midst tonight, are very brave. Oldbrook is the guy that designs my flyers. So well done, Oldbrook. He's dialing in from Ghana. Thank you so much. And yeah, go on.
Unfortunately, I couldn't join earlier because of work, but at least I've been able to hear a lot. And I had a question based on the fact that we are supposed to approach our bosses or managers after they commented that we have been doing good at work. But my question is, what if, unfortunately, maybe your boss isn't that approachable type? Like, you try your best, you do everything, but he doesn't appreciate what you do or something. I mean, you tried, he's not giving you that space to approach him. So how do you approach him? Or in what way do you approach him to know if there's more you can learn from him? Or I don't know if my question is understandable.
Yeah. Can I take that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, go on.
What I was thinking is, he's human, isn't he? One of those ones. Before, I used to worry about many things. Somebody doesn't like me or something, or many people have like your complaint. But what I always tell people is that it's not your battle. Leave it with God and everything. God will soften his heart and all of that. There's nobody who is too strong not to kind of change their ways or something. One day he will need you for something. So carry on, just keep, don't suck up to him. It's human after all, but just do what you have to do and get it right. One day he will think and say, this guy is trying so hard. Let me give him the light of day or something. Okay, take over.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just going to ask add to it that, you know, you have to know the type of manager you have. There's some managers that micromanage, and there's some managers that just let you roam. It could be that type of manager that, you know, he doesn't want to micromanage you. So, you know, also, again, it's just understanding the kind of manager you have. So maybe that might be why. But another thing is that in your workplace, you have a succession plan. So if you do have a succession plan, that's a good way to start a conversation with them to say, you know, these are, you know, your appraiser, you know, in most UK companies that I know, by the company's policy and procedure, they're meant to sit with you to say, these are your objectives. So that's a way to start a conversation to say, these are the work, am I meeting the expectations? What is the company succession plan? For example, when you go for an interview, I would ask any interview to say, in this job, what is expected? What is the succession plan? I'm not just coming to work for you. If I cannot be promoted in that workplace, I'm not coming. So, I've had that conversation. So I know that I will constantly ask you for feedback. Again, if he's not approachable, send him an email to say, these are areas that maybe I'm having challenges, or this week we've done this work and it's gone really, really well, things like that. You might not talk to him, but give him summary. It could be summary once in 2 weeks, once in a month. Again, it's documented, right? So that way, gradually, and also try and understand the kind of manager he is. Is he a micromanager, or is he that person that lets you run wide? And then when things goes wrong, then they come and try and understand. So that's what I would say.
Thank you so much. We're going to end with the Samsung person question. I'm just going to read this out from Vivian. I always pray a prayer that works for me. God creates an opportunity for my gift to shine. I find it helps me reach the person behind the manager, the human being, not the manager, not the title. You can also ask your manager, how can you make their workload lighter? How can you make their workload lighter? Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Audrey. So last person, please. Samsung, if you can just unmute yourself, and that'll be it for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm so happy to be part of this group. I was actually invited by my sister, my elder sister, and listening to all the comments and everyone makes me so happy, because I've been kind of thinking since morning. I actually started working with a company here, not up to a month now, and the majority of the people I work with are whites, and every day what I hear is, you have come to take our job, you're Black, why are you here? You mean you left Nigeria all to work for us here? You and your family, where are you staying? How many are you? So a lot of questions, and I just keep trying to be diplomatic. And just yesterday, I had a report from a colleague, a white friend of ours, that said she just downloaded a lot of things about you to me. She just saying she has to find a way to push out this Black. It's just her job. She wants to retain this job, and she just trying every way to make sure that she because we are like 4 Blacks there, that she pushes us out, and she wants whites to work here. So it got me really thinking. I've been praying fine, but I was just like, what should I do? And this morning I had to send a mail to one of the HR, two of them, that I'm not really comfortable with working with this lady. It's making me anxious. It's giving me disturbed and burning. Anytime I want to go to work, I think, how will I speak with her? How will I relate? But working with my service users is difficult, because every step I want to take, I'm conscious of what will she say? What will she do? And she's just domineering, like bullying. And I'm just like, what should I do? So I just had to send out a mail, and they said they will get back, they will work, or they will handle it formally. So I was just still bothered. But listening to people now makes me feel like I think I did the right thing. Or what step should I still take to undo this? This is really bothering me.
Anyone? Has she done the right thing?
She's done the right thing. Yeah. Because if you
yes.
wake up every day not wanting to go to work, and you're scared or having anxiety to face that kind of person, it's not fair.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
a form
okay.
of harassment.
Biba wants to say something.
In a way, Sorry?
Go on.
Oh.
Okay, sorry, I struggled with unmuting myself for a while. All right, so I didn't get the name, but you have done the right thing. It's kind of unfortunate that you spend most of your hours at work and you feel uncomfortable. My advice would be that you can wait to get a feedback from the body you have reported to. In the meantime, try as much as possible not to be too much in her face. Like I mentioned in the chat box, study how she's able to relate well with other people, and see if you can follow the steps or the approach those ones take as well. And I always tell people, yeah, it's a work, right? Your career is ahead of you. So if you don't really feel comfortable in that environment, it would be good to start thinking of your exit plan whilst you still have this job. to be good to start thinking of, oh, how do you then get somewhere else? But be sure that you have somewhere else before you think of resigning. But try all possible means, and one of which you already tried is to try to report to another person or a body. Try to see if the outcome is positive before then you start thinking of an exit strategy. Because then you can only try your best. If she decides to remain difficult, it will completely tell on your mental health.
Thank you so much. I like this comment, and then we'll close on this. Keep a journal of what is happening, and definitely that's what I would say as well. You need evidences, a journal or diary of what is happening. Ensure also that you have witnesses, because what they do is go behind your back to talk to the people that you work with to get information. And definitely do not disclose your personal details with colleagues at work. And don't talk behind their back as well. I think that's very important as well. Don't talk behind their back. You know, be who you want to be. Oh, somebody's still putting their hands up, but I'm sorry. Can we close? Okay, one more, and then please, let's keep it short with the answers. Unmute yourself, Funke. She's putting her hands up. I'm not sure. Are you asking a question, or are you saying I5, or are you saying thank you? I'm not sure what you're saying, but we'll leave it. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming tonight. Do we have anybody who is new here? Anybody new? Who is anyone new? If you put your hands up.
Sorry, but I had, and I've got a very bad reception. But
okay, go on.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I've got a very bad reception. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can.
Hello?
Okay, I think your reception is bad, but we can catch up afterwards. I can link you up to any one of them anyway, because of time.
Yeah, I usually speak to Abiba, so it's fine. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Okay, Biba is your retirement plan. So Biba, you have somebody who will talk to you afterwards. And thank you so much. I always refer a lot of people to you, and you've been fantastic. So thank you so much. We are ending on this note. Before we go, I think nobody wants to say that they are new. I say a lot of new names, but I don't want to call names. So because we have only one person who is on video and she knows herself, I'm gonna, okay, Vivian is new actually, that's true. Vivian, you're on my list of people, so I'm not gonna call you as well. Okay, I'm not gonna call you. I want somebody who is new. I think I've got Samsung and is up. If you can unmute yourself, I just want you to pray for us. I want somebody who is new to interact and just pray. Yes, ma'am. Can you unmute yourself? I'm going to ask you to unmute now. You're unmuted. Yes, go on. If you just pray for us, please.
Oh, I'm new here and I'm happy to be part of this group.
We're happy to have you and to pray for us.
Amen. Father, we thank you for another opportunity to discuss. Thank you so much for this gathering. Lord, we are so grateful. We thank you for your love. We thank you for your mercies. We thank you for your grace. We thank you for the love. We thank you for the peace of God in our hearts and in our lives. Thank you because you have brought us out of various countries, various origin, and you have planted us in a land. We thank you because you have helped us thus far. We thank you because this land is full of milk and honey for us. We enjoy the blessings in this land. We enjoy the nourishment and the sweetness in this land in the name of Jesus. We are not troubled on any side in the name of Jesus. The Lord makes us a great people out of our family and our descendants in Jesus' name. Our name is great in this land in the name of Jesus. We are a blessing in this land in the name of Jesus. Everyone associated with us is blessed in the name of Jesus. No one causes us trouble, but we bear on our bodies the mark of the Lord Jesus Christ. We are lifted, we are blessed. In Jesus' name we have prayed.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much to all the speakers. Thank you to everyone that has shared the flyer one way or the other. Thank you for, always rooting out the words of encouragement. They mean a lot, they go a lot. And thank you also to Mindsets Makeover for the number of spaces. You know what you've done. We appreciate you. We say thank you. And thank you to everyone who has come on here tonight and who have actually stayed as well to the end.